diary proved very interesting to read.
You read my journal?
At first, I did not know that it was your diary. I thought it was a very sad, handwritten book. But then, because of the deep personal details and the bits that mentioned Gil and Bryn...
No, don't read my journal. Don't go in my room.
Well, hello. I think before you make those sort of demands, you need to maybe think about putting a note on your door saying do not come into my room, read my diary and wear my clothes.
Today we are addressing college students with roommates and discussing how to manage the stress and conflict that accompanies roommate relationships. The 3 topics we will cover are top roommate issues, how these issues affect stress levels, and how to manage when the stress manifests. According to an article published by the University of Michigan, the most common roommate issues include cleanliness, sharing space, food, and other items, and noise levels associated with study time, guests, and parties. We interviewed 3 university attending students, first asking them to share their experiences on this topic.
I would have to say quiet time, not necessarily because I don't like somebody doing their own thing during their own time. That's not my problem, but when my roommate knows it's too late during the week to be playing loud music at 2 a.m., that's a problem for me.
I lived with some people who were complete slobs. They would just leave trash everywhere. It was really just kind of hard coming home to a filthy living environment every single day when no one else would clean.
I think that just sharing a space with people who have different preferences is the biggest issue that I've had to face. Because when I was a freshman living in a dorm, I lived in a suite, and we had 4 people in there, and it was hard to determine what to keep the temperature set as, because 2 of us liked it cooler and the other 2 liked it really warm, so we couldn't really reach an agreement on that.
With many of these issues overlapping, causing conflict and tension in a household, students begin to feel overwhelming amounts of stress in various aspects of their life. Their different dimensions of health begin to decline. Some students feel pressure on their academic performance. Some students start to avoid being in their own homes. Some students project their negative roommate experiences in their social circles. A journal published by the American Psychological Association stated that roommate conflict was associated with increases in distress among individuals with low levels of perceived social support from friends. Our next question is to our interviewees was, how does roommate conflict affect your stress level?
Affected me in little ways. I did actually skip 3 classes in one day because I didn't have any sleep the night before because of a disturbance between me and my roommate.
Stressful always having to come home to a dirty place. I mean, it was so filthy that I never wanted to actually be there.
Well, I'm not normally a confrontational person. Like, I normally try to avoid conflicts when I can. So the roommate that I had, who also liked to keep the rooms cool, she and I would like text back and forth and be like, oh my god, it's so hot. But we didn't know how to approach the other 2 girls about it. So I guess it sort of stressed me out, like not knowing how to take care of the situation without potentially hurting someone's feelings.
The students we interviewed each had their own way of managing their conflict and stress. Here's how.
At first, I didn't deal with it at all. I tried to ignore it, try to not put too much energy into it, and try not to let it affect me. But now I'm going to higher ups to get the problem solved because me and my roommate can't just talk by ourselves because that's when the problem occurs.
Basically, just yelled at my roommates and forced them to clean the house. Otherwise, you know, I couldn't be around there. It was disgusting.
Well, since I didn't really do anything to take care of the conflict, just when the year was up, we decided to go in different directions, so I ended up not living with the same people again. So that kind of took care of the conflict.
The most direct solution to the root of this type of stress is conflict resolution. A key to preventing confrontations between roommates is creating communication skills. During communicative conversations, it is best to listen, understand, and process what has been heard, and finally react with good intentions. By listening non-defensively and talking assertively, you can create an ideal climate for conflict resolution. Try to avoid battling over the phone via text messages. The Well-Being Office at Rice University suggests picking a time with your roommate to sit down and discuss a general schedule and personal habits, such as guest or quiet time on weekdays versus weekends. Vocalizing a structured schedule with roommates gives everyone a chance to cooperate, leaving no one behind. Examples of schedules can include a cleaning chart or a calendar with due dates. Dr. Hancock, director of the Well at VCU, took the time to address this topic.
Well, living with people is stressful, and when people come to college, often it's the first time they've had to live with someone. But it's not going to be the last. You're going to live with people for the rest of your life, so it's yet another perfect growth opportunity. Now, at the Wellness Resource Center, we don't do so much about roommate stress, but we do a lot about stress. So here's what I would say. Perfect time to start practicing mindfulness, okay? When somebody ticks you off, that's a note to you that you're the one reacting. Haven't you ever been in a room where somebody ticks you off but they don't bother other people?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So then you have to say, there's something about me that's reacting to them too, right? So if you practice mindfulness and you don't judge, you get a look.
In addition to mindfulness, Dr. Hancock mentions that respect is necessary and fundamental in order to find stability in relationships. This goes for any kind of relationship. Talking over each other, mocking, or making smart remarks only proves the significance of walking over one another to the point of disrespect. Keep in mind that the living space is being shared. Take into account what you as a roommate do and do not have control over. If problems persist or if you feel that your safety is jeopardized, we urge you to seek a mediator, whether it be a resident assistant, a landlord, or a mutual friend. A third-party person with no bias towards the situation can be highly useful for mitigating a tense situation. If stress continues to persist or becomes overbearing, please visit your university's counseling services.
Well, the thing is, we decided that it was actually a bit immature for a grown-up brother and sister to still be living together with a roommate.
Yeah.
At our age. Bit ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
We look a bit silly, don't
Pathetic.
we? Yeah.
What?
So we're actually going to live together alone without you.
You're moving out.